This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin, joined on my right, your left, by my favorite unpublished author, Patrick.
I have too many projects. I have way too many projects. We'll talk about that another time. Let's talk about gaming news. That's what you're here for. Every single week we give you gaming news, whether you like it or not. And whether there's news or not, we try to be there to ramble on, because it's fun. We try to start out with backwards compatible games every single week, because usually there's some backwards compatible stuff, and this week we got some good stuff. So we got Tom Clancy, another Tom Clancy game I haven't played.
Funny story about this one. Ghost Recon Future Soldier was actually the featured game in Tandem Cannon's last episode.
Really?
Went up like 2 days before this actually became. They're like, oh, you should definitely play this game. The AI is apparently really, really good. Mm-hmm. And you roll out with a squad of 3 or 4, and you get like backstories on these characters, and yeah, it seems like a really cool deal.
It tells me that Major Nelson probably is a Tandem Cannon listener.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
sure, why not? And he just made it happen in 48 hours.
Of course, why not? We also got Metal Gear Solid. This is the HD collection that was on Xbox. That does not have Metal. It has what is it? It has Metal Gear. It has Metal Gear Solid 2. It does not have Metal Gear Solid.
My notes say Peace Walker HD edition.
Was it Peace Walker? I thought it was. It was Peace Walker HD. Sorry, I thought this was the. My apologies. There is a collection on Xbox that has a collection of 3 or 4 games, and it doesn't have Metal Gear Solid, but it has Metal Gear Solid 2. I think it's 2, 3, and also Peace Walker, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But either way, it was irritating. Sorry, I was just getting flashbacks of being in the GameStop and going off about how the hell can you have a Metal Gear collection without Metal Gear Solid? I mean,
don't know.
I don't know. The answer is they want money. They want my separate money to pay $20 or so for it standalone. That's what it is. Everyone wants that game. That's like if they do a Zelda collection, they're not going to have... If they do a Zelda collection on Switch, they're not going to have Link to the Past, and they're not going to have Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Probably won't have Majora's Mask, but they'll throw in like, oh, look, you get a Phantom Hourglass, and you get, I don't know, something else, but not the ones we want.
And then the last one we have on here is Axel or Pixel, and I forget, did you play this or did I?
I didn't. I have not played Axel or Pixel.
Okay, well, I definitely played Axel and Pixel, mm-hmm. and it's about a car that is trying to escape into a digital world.
Ooh.
So he makes friends via a link up, like, you know how now whenever you go in to get your car diagnosed, they like plug your car into a computer, right? Yeah. So he makes friends with the operating system that you plug into, and he calls it Pixel. And it becomes they both kind of become self-aware because of the particulars of the connection. But anyway, that's not important. That's just the story. Yeah. But Axel and Pixel become friends, and he's trying to escape into a digital world because he has a setup. The car does where he has like computer screens where they play PlayStation and stuff. Or okay. I'm sorry, not PlayStation, Xbox. Definitely Xbox.
Definitely Xbox. Because it's an Xbox game. Xbox exclusive. Right. This was an Xbox exclusive, yes.
Right. And so Axel and Pixel are trying to join up and meet up in the game that he sees on his monitors. And so you're driving to all these super secret government locations, and then you switch and you play as Pixel, and you're trying to infiltrate these systems. And so it's got like the Metal Gear, what were the VR missions?
Yeah.
Remember those? So basically those right. So there's the racing parts where you're trying to get to these destinations, and then you have to hide like Need for Speed. And so
Okay.
that is the game, and I'll go ahead and spoil the ending because I'm making all the rest of this up too. But when they actually meet in person, they fall in love and they ride off into a digital sunset.
Oh.
It's kind of cute.
That's adorable.
Yes, also fake.
Also fake.
If you haven't watched the show before, what we do is whenever we don't know one of the backwards compatible games, we make them up. And I have a lot of fun with it. You have a lot of fun with it, and so
We all have a lot of fun with it. Sorry, I was trying to find some notes, and I apologize. I messed up the video there.
the story that I just described does not exist, but it should.
Yeah, it should. It should. You broke up a little bit there, but let's keep going. Let's see what we can do. We also got a. Lost my notes. Go ahead and tell me what the next one was while I try to find it here.
All right, so the next thing that we have is we have Twitch Prime is now including
Yes.
monthly free titles, which I'm really excited about because I love free games, and Twitch Prime is included for all of those of you who have Amazon Prime.
Yep.
you
So
get
it
this
won't be an extra cost if you already are an Amazon Prime member, which is fantastic. Which is great. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of the games are surprisingly good. This month they have Super Hot, Shadow Tactics, Oxenfree, and Mr. Shifty. And then Tales from Candle Keep,
Yes.
Tomb of Annihilation, which is a
Yes.
D&D. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So we really should be making these up too if we don't know them. But I actually know these first ones. Super Hot is the time only moves when you do.
Yep.
Shadow Tactics is a ninja game with, or not a ninja game, but like a stealth game where you're trying to do basically tactics and Black Ops and that kind of thing. Oxenfree we've played for the games with gold. And then Mr. Shifty is a game where you're basically like you're a secret agent, but you have Nightcrawler's ability, and so you can like jump through walls and stuff
Yep.
to take everybody out, and it looks like a heck of a lot of fun. The only one I don't know is D&D Tales from Candlekeep.
Which I've read parts of the module, so like I know about the module in regards to a little bit, but really it was kind of one of those things I was kind of skimming through in preparing for some D&D and Pathfinder stuff.
Yeah.
But it's another way Wizards of the Coast is trying to get Dungeons and Dragons into the forefront for people to play D&D other than being on a tabletop.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I will be brief on this, but I've been playing the Magic the Gathering arena. It's in beta right now. The 22nd is when the NDA comes out, so that is Thursday. I will have multiple videos out for you on then. I want to talk about how I feel about Magic the Gathering. Spoilers, I love it. Also, how it compares to Hearthstone. For those people who play Hearthstone that haven't played Magic the Gathering, because Hearthstone stole everything from Magic the Gathering. And what I will say that Hearthstone's interface is prettier, but Magic the Gathering is basically the same interface as Hearthstone. For the most part, it's the same. So people who play Hearthstone can jump in here as long as they understand a couple different mechanics of the differences in the two games. I like it better than Hearthstone. I can't stop playing.
That is high praise coming from you because you've been playing Hearthstone for several years, and you keep coming back to it. So
I've built 15 decks. I keep like deleting them, and like the cool thing also is you can clone a deck. So if you're like, oh, I've got this Pirates deck or whatever. Right now there's only two sets of cards that are available, and as it builds, just like Hearthstone, it'll build out so you'll have more. So pirates and dinosaurs are the two things right now that are like really tribal. Merfolk are also a thing, but I'm like, oh, I have this really cool pirates deck, and then I think, I wonder what it would be like if I change out these 6 cards for these 6 cards or something to that effect. You can clone the deck and then edit the second one, so that way you have the primary one and you don't have to like remember what you changed.
okay.
Which I think is really cool.
Before I let you go too far into potential NDA territory, that sounds cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say about it on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
Didn't violate the NDA, I don't think, on that. We'll see.
And then we also have April's Twitch Prime games, which is going to be Tales from the Borderlands, which is an excellent Telltale game. SteamWorld Dig 2, which I am super excited about because I played that on I guess Vita. See, I'm already forgetting which games I've played on Vita and which ones I just wish I had played on Switch. But that game is also available. That game is available everywhere, and highly recommended. So if you don't have Amazon Prime, SteamWorld Dig 2, just play it. Kingsway, I believe that you get to tell me all about Kingsway.
Oh, Kingsway. So that Kingsway was an offshoot. This is I can't remember the name of the company. It's the company that Blizzard was before they were Blizzard, when they were trying to make their own video games, because they were making third-party stuff. They're making stuff for other people, and they were like, we need to make a game like King's Quest and Space Quest, and they're like, oh, we're going to do Kingsway. Okay. And it is a really early on, but it is a kind of branching storyline, kind of like Telltale. But this is DOS based.
That is impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. It was not DOS, Windows 3.5, and it was branching storyline, and to see what the King's Way is, and they were pulling a lot from Taoist, like Eastern philosophy, in regards to what the way is, in regards to like the self, and kind of Nietzsche in there as well.
Okay.
But it has kind of this Tim Schafer-esque, like, I want to be funny aspect to it. But you have relationship building in regards to the different people in the communities, the different like prominent people in the communities, and what you do for one of them may outweigh one of the others. And there's a little quirkiness in there, like where you have to find a woman's chicken to give it back. You have to find a woman's chicken, give that to a grave robber, so he'll dig up a grave. Then you can take the amulet from that grave and give it to an owl, and the owl will then fly up onto a tower and light a light for you.
And naturally, and see, those are the kind of puzzles that you enjoy and that I can never figure out.
Exactly, and they also don't exist. So.
Yes, there is that too. Tokyo 42, however, does exist. I know a little bit about this one. But this is an isometric game where you're playing as a sniper, and you're going through the various levels, and so you're trying to figure out a vantage point from which you can kind of scout around, but without being noticed by the patrolling guards. And it looked really interesting. I haven't actually played it, but it kind of looks like a super violent Monument Valley. And so it's really colorful and all kinds of stuff like that. And then Dub Wars is one that I've pretended to play, and Dub Wars is about basically it's Deadmau5 versus Dead Cat, and how Deadmau5 came to be the preeminent dubstep artist. And so it's the rivalry between them, and so like it's a competitive rock band type game, but with the DJ mix gameplay elements.
Does it have like Skrillex and those people like popping in as well?
Yes, you get to kill Skrillex at the end of the game, which because I'm making up the game, and you get to kill Skrillex, and I don't like Skrillex. So I like dubstep. I like dubstep, but I'm not a fan of Skrillex.
I don't like dubstep, so I can't. So I couldn't tell you the difference.
So there you go. There's the free games and the ones that we did know and the ones that we didn't know, and there you go. So I am curious. I wasn't able to figure out how these games are being distributed. Is it through Steam codes, or is it? Were you able to figure that out?
I tried to look into it. I haven't looked into it. I haven't found out yet. I believe it's through Steam codes. I will double check on that. We'll report back on it. I believe it's on Steam codes. I would love if they were giving out a code for whichever platform that you want. However, I don't think...
Gosh, that would be amazing.
It would be, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think that Steam codes will work better. I think the majority of people who stream, even though we have consoles, the majority of people who stream on PC. So
yeah, it's true. And apparently in the chat we have that we are goofballs. So that's confirmed, and that's not news.
Fake news.
Because if you're no, that's real news. Because I'm just saying that it's everybody who watches this knows this. Anyway, so moving on to real news. This is a piece that I actually missed last week. That Far Cry 5 is releasing with an incredible map editor.
Yeah.
And they're calling it Far Cry Arcade, which I saw the name and I was like, okay, whatever. And I just kind of moved on. But Far Cry Arcade is actually really amazing. And the amount of materials they're pulling from Watch Dogs 1, from Assassin's Creed, like Black Flag, Syndicate, and what's the French one with the missing faces? Unity.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Ubisoft. Love you. But yeah, they're doing that, and then Far Cry 4, Primal, and 5. So you'll be able to mix all of this up, and to me that sounds amazing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm not going to be building these, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the community makes.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm too. I think building it would be could be a little. Sorry about the dog. Building it could be a little much. To me, I will spend way too much time trying to build something, and it'll be mediocre. The easiest, the one thing that I do like about this though is being able to add all these different NPCs, because Far Cry. All of the Far Cries have the interaction between the animals as well as interaction between the people. I feel like putting like the militia from Far Cry 5 against a bunch of woolly mammoths,
right,
and then just seeing what happens,
or having Yetis versus bears and figuring out what the fair ratio is to make it a good fight. Like that. That to me sounds massively entertaining, and I'm looking. And these are just the ones that we're coming up with off the top of our heads. Again, like with Mario Maker, there will be people who will do amazing things with this. And so my big hope. Apparently, 3 and 4 also had map editors. I did not even know that.
Had no idea.
Yeah,
played them. Had no idea.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what this does and what they do with it.
Yeah, which brings us on to other Far Cry. Yeah, which brings us on to other Far Cry news. The microtransactions in Far Cry 5 are going to be only cosmetic.
Yeah,
which is great because that's if you want to spend $5 and give yourself a hat or whatever, then go on and wear whatever. I don't know. I mean, they could do all kinds of things in here to just make it funny. Where like you could have like a Canadian tuxedo, like the jeans and everything, the denim, everything. Like they could do so many things that would just be funny that would not break the immersion. And I think that they'll probably have that balance where you're not going to have them wearing a chicken suit because it'd just be stupid, but and also give you away as a completely not part of the group. But wearing different biker jackets or whatever, spend money if you want to spend money on that. I'm probably not going to, but I will. Yeah.
Well, and this is another example of kind of the kickback and how intensely, because for a long time we've been saying that it felt like that microtransactions were inevitable, and it was just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse, and basically it did until Battlefront 2, and then the backlash was so huge that everybody from Disney to CNN to everybody went, oh, this is really bad, you should stop doing this. And so it seems like the developers are reacting to what's actually happening there. And Battlefront 2 is actually coming back. The microtransactions, as we reported months ago, it feels like, they removed all microtransactions, and they were like, hold on, we'll be right back. So they're bringing those back, and it's going to be cosmetic only again. I think the loot boxes are still going to be there, but star cards are something that you earn through gameplay, and so somebody who's been playing for 50 hours or whatever is going to still have some of those, but you can't buy your way into excellence.
Correct.
And so that's fun. And
and the more you play, I mean, it's not a great balance, but it does reward you just for getting out there. Yeah. I mean, if you get out there and you just die, and that's all, you make no kills, there's actually decent. It's not huge, but like there's a decent like little bonus that you get in there for really doing nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool that they're doing this just as cosmetic only. And I think it'll be good overall. I think this year seems to be like the year on many fronts where everyone's like, you know what, I've had enough of this. We're not going to let it happen again.
Yeah.
You have the Me Too movement. You have the people protesting for. Well, some people protesting for bans, but at least reasonable gun control or some action. And then you have microtransactions. It's like everybody is kind of standing up and going, "Hey, you know, we've been complacent way too long, so let's do something." And I think that's really great. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, I think it's great to be able to stand up and go, "Hey, let's work on this."
Yeah. Speaking of working on things, Tomb Raider 1 through 3 are getting remasters. And if you own those games on Steam, then it's going to be, you get the upgrades for free, kind of like they did with Skyrim and the, what was that edition called?
It was the Ultimate Edition or something. I can't remember. It's the remastered whatever, but which I thought, I'm glad that they did that. And this, I'm pretty sure I have like 5 Tomb Raider games in my Steam. I have everything in my Steam catalog. Like all of you, I probably have over 300 games that I've only played 5 of. But I love Tomb Raider, and I got Tomb Raider and Hitman and a couple others in packs of like, hey, you know, these are games I like, and I've got Dark Forces, Jedi Knight,
Nice.
and a bunch of others that I'm like, oh, I love this game. I want to play it at one point. You know, and you go, okay, well, I'll spend $5 for 3 games. And I'm pretty sure I have these, so I'll try to report back and see how they do. I'm curious how the mechanics are on this, because this is from a time where 3D was very new, and it was really clunky on trying to do combat where you're like, your rotation is like this.
Yeah.
If you've played Resident Evil, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, that's your rotation.
It's tricky.
So trying to attack or defend against a bear attacking you while shooting, and you can only shoot forward, and you're doing this. It's tricky.
Was it Tomb Raider 2 that introduced the move where you could do a 180 spin? Because that was really useful at the time, just because of how slow it was.
Yeah, I will say, I spent, where other people will say like, oh, I spent so much time looking at Lara Croft. I mean, sure, she was, you know, for an adolescent kid, she was pretty, but I probably spent more time, instead of oogling her, I spent more time doing the swan dive, you know, because you can do the swan dive. Yeah. I spent more time doing that off of way too high a cliff just to see her break her neck. Like, I think I did that more than anything else, just because I thought it was funny how fearless she was just diving in, and because it was great if it was like a 15-foot drop and she would roll, and it was like, that's great. But if it was like a 50, no.
Yeah. Not sure that that's really better.
Well, I just thought it was funny how it had nothing to do with violence against women. It was specifically like, she willingly did a dive.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, there's just no, like, there's no,
hesitation.
There's no hesitation. She's just like, crack. I just thought it was funny. Like, she thought something different was going to happen.
Yeah.
But that was, again, adolescent Patrick.
I will admit to doing that to Fallout characters that I've had. So I can't really judge too harshly, because like the ragdoll physics and the slow-mo and the so
just to see what happens. It's fun. Yeah. So we got some news about Square Enix, which is that they're hiring for the Final Fantasy VII remake. I've seen people on Twitter and other places talking about how, they must not be very far, or there must be trouble.
I'm going to go with the latter.
I don't know if it necessarily means trouble, because I've seen issues in regards to companies, in regards to developers, where not the developer top down, but a specific group of people in development leave, or a key member leaves, and then they go, okay, how do we go forward with this person when this person that may not be someone that everyone else knows, but everyone inside is like, this person had the vision of what they were doing, and we need to reevaluate how we're doing this. It may or may not be a problem. I'm just playing devil's advocate because, like I said, I've seen times where a specific key player or a couple players, and by players I mean like a couple coders or artists said, you know what, I'm done. I've been working on this project for X amount of time, and I'm moving on to something else. And then they go, oh crap, how do we need to refocus. So it could be that. It definitely could be that there's trouble in paradise. I don't want there to be. I want to play this game, but at the same time, it could end up being very much like The Last Guardian, and just tons of hype, and then you play it and you're like, it's not bad, but because Last Guardian's not bad, but it's nowhere near.
Not great, but not.
History of the World.
No, actually, Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's when Q meets another member of the Q. So there's a deep cut for you Next Generation fans.
I was thinking of History of the World, where he's like, nice, not bad, not good, but nice. It's true. Yes. Also got some stuff about Sea of Thieves, which I'm really excited about Sea of Thieves because it's hilarious, and I'll probably there's going to be all kinds of fun stories coming out of this because it's more about you as a player playing and creating your own story. Yeah, you have quests and stuff, but you're gonna have all kinds of fun interactions happening as a pirate, which I'm excited about. But the news here is that that there has been a new human cannonball record that has been broken, which I think is great. I mean, I'm assuming they teamed up with this guy because of his I don't know if talent is the right word. Definitely courageous. I mean, I'll give him that.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
also, this is what GoPros were made for.
Yes.
That watching that from first person was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said I don't know if I'd call it talent. Maybe call it talent, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'd probably chicken out. I mean, I'll be honest. It's
definitely a talent and a skill that he's developed, because you don't just load a newbie in to go for a world record.
Well, you can.
So yes, that is true, Patrick.
You can.
You could have.
But there's more onus on the trajectory in regards to the cannon. I don't know if he also does that part where he's like figuring out the trajectory and the ballistics, because to me the physics of that, depending on the weight, as long as you can figure out the weight and mass of the person that you're using, and then go from there, figure out the ballistics that you need and the angle. I feel like you could hit that target no matter what, but the only question is the person going to live? Because will they know how to tuck? So
and I'm curious about. Okay, so this was something that, and I promise we'll move back to gaming news and everything. But I'm curious, what are the limitations on how far you can launch a human cannonball? Like, what is it that keeps you from being able to launch them past whatever the current record is?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the inner ballistics of a human cannonball cannon, which I think is what we would need to dig further on that. I need to know how one is launched out of there to not literally burn their britches.
So there you go. So we will look into that and or forget entirely about it. But moving on to the next story, we have more Monster Hunter news. Dante from DMC is going to show up in an armor set into Monster Hunter. And okay, for me, as an owner of Monster Hunter, these continue to impress, surprise, and make me happy, because Capcom is digging deep into their archives. We've got Aloy, who is not even Capcom. We've got Mega Man. We've got Dante. We've got all these different things, and it's just been so much fun to watch because this is a strange game, and it's a wonderful and bizarre game, and it's been really fun to watch how far they're willing to take this, and they can appreciate, this game is weird. Mm-hmm. Deal with it.
It's weird, and for the most part, it doesn't break immersion because of the world that they built. A lot of this doesn't break the immersion of the of the world. You already have a fantastical world that has these amazing creatures, but also relatively advanced science for what you're looking at. I mean, it's quasi steampunky, and I think it works well where you can bring in these characters and you're like, oh yeah, he's from this other land, he's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to. It's not like doing like a regular D&D campaign and then you've got a spaceship and a DeLorean, right, and that's Ultima, and that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But what does make sense is Mario Kart. And I love Mario Kart. In real life, this is through Niagara Falls. Niagara Speedway is creating a life-size Mario Kart track of sorts, which I think is
They've removed the weapons, and that's okay.
I personally think it would be really funny to be able to get bonuses, to have a screen in front of you, like a tablet, an iPad, through specific checkpoints. You get specific bonuses where you can either stall someone out behind you or stall someone out in front of you, and it just stops, it just cuts their engine for a minute and then turns it back on. Okay. I just think it would be funny, and it wouldn't be too hard on the carts themselves. I think it would be hilarious. It'd be easiest to do in electronic. Or you could just throttle it down, not turn off the engine, but like disengage the accelerator for a moment and then let it re-engage. Yeah. Because it's going to be enough to, like, if you do that for 2 seconds, it's going to be enough for the person behind you to speed up a little bit. Yeah. I think that would be cool, but either way, this looks really fun.
Yeah, and I love karts. Yeah. Karts are so much fun. And I like Mario Kart because, being human. But riding karts in real life is so much fun, and I love every chance I get to do it. So yeah, I think this is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah. And speaking of things that we would do and we're interested in, well, at least me, I don't know how you feel about the Genesis Classics collection. But
I was a Genesis kid. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
We had the Sega Genesis Classics was leaked and then confirmed, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Which I think I've talked about this before, but my brother had an NES that he gave to me, mm-hmm, but the Genesis was my first console that was mine, and I got that was given to me. That was not a hand-me-down, and I had that instead of a Super Nintendo. And I think this is great. This is coming out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That being said, and PC, yeah. That being said, I'm looking at my Super Nintendo Classic, which I've modded to play those games. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I mean, they may be better on this, but playing it on that style of hardware, to me, is still, there's something about playing it on that style of hardware as opposed to playing it modern on a PS4 modern controller doesn't feel right. I haven't seen this online, so let us know in the comments if you've seen this. I would love to know if anyone has made a Genesis style controller that adapts to that connects to the connector on the Super Nintendo, or just a USB to that proprietary connector. I'm sure that no one's been able to do it because it's proprietary. Yeah. The only reason that I'm saying that is because I have Genesis games on my Super Nintendo Classic because I own them, and I would love to be able to plug in. I have a USB USB Sega Genesis controller, so I can play through emulation. I would love to be able to plug that into my Super Nintendo Classic and play, but probably not something I can do. I'll probably just be able to play it on. Probably just stick to emulators on PC for that. But there's something about that old school controller as opposed to modern when you're playing an old school game. It just feels better. It really does. Yeah. And we maybe should have mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Tomb Raider, but Shadow of the Tomb Raider is our next news item on the list. Yeah. And that's something that has been brought up to it was leaked first because that's what Shadow of the Empire is. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you mean? And your audio's cut out, but I think you mean Shadow of the Tomb Raider on that. So this is the third Tomb Raider game in the reboot, as it were, which I'm looking forward to because I liked the other ones. I really like what they're doing with Lara Croft on this. Speaking of Lara Croft, because we should have talked about this earlier as well, apparently the Tomb Raider movie is bombing, and it makes me sad for video games, for video game movies, because there is so much potential to certain intellectual properties in video games to make a movie of, and this is one that I think would work really well, and unfortunately didn't do very well on this. There's a lot of body shaming that's been going on in regards to critics talking about how she's not sexy enough, and that just irritates me because that's the whole point of the new Tomb Raider franchise, is to be like, hey, let's make her a person. And yeah, it just irritates me that the critics would attack her on that. I heard she's good though. Unfortunately, we lost your audio still, but I'm going to go to the next one while we figure that out, which is Soul Calibur, because I'm not a big Soul Calibur fan. Kevin probably is, and he's not able to talk right now because his audio is not working. But new Soul Calibur VI, is going to include the Witcher protagonist Geralt, whatever, which this is something that they do a lot, which is, bringing in characters that are not part of the Soul Calibur series. We've had Yoda show up in Soul Calibur, so it's not unlike the series to have this happen. One thing that I personally think is funny, which has nothing to do with this game though, is that they call him the White Wolf in there, and then quasi spoilers for Marvel stuff, but it's been a couple months. Actually, you know what? I think it was in the deleted scene for Captain America Civil War, so eat it. Bucky Barnes is referred to as the White Wolf, which is a character from Black Panther series. And when people talked about him being White Wolf or referred to as White Wolf, everyone said, they stole that from Witcher. I'm like, no, they stole that from, that's a Marvel thing. Plus, it's a generic enough thing. White Wolf. I mean, first of all, you have the... I can hear you now, a little bit. Now I can hear you. Yeah, it's generic enough, and you also have the alliteration of W's, so I don't think it wasn't stolen from anybody. I think it's common enough. I do like, by the way, you haven't seen Black Panther yet, but this doesn't spoil anything. One of the characters in that, M'Baku, which is the leader of one of the other tribes of Wakanda. So in the comics, he is called Man-Ape.
Nice.
And he dresses up like an ape, and they smartly chose to change that because there's so much positivity in the Black Panther movie that they were like, let's not try to do something that may be construed as quasi-racist, because and
so
they changed some stuff for Infinity War too, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, while I was muted, I was able to come up with the alliteration that you're looking for, and it's Soul Calibur welcomes the Witcher's White Wolf, Geralt.
Well, that works.
So yeah, there you go. There's all the alliteration you need.
Yay!
For today. We have a bit more news as far as Twitch, which is fun. And absolutely massive, and I suspect that most people heard about this in some form or fashion. Yeah. But Drake came on and to Ninja Fantastic. I forget his full name, but basically he goes by Ninja in the stream. Yeah. And he showed up, and they broke all kinds of records. The previous record for concurrent watchers on Twitch was like 380,000. They busted all the way up past 600,000. Yeah. And he got 90,000 subs on Twitch in an evening, which is absolutely insane. And he has triple the subs of the second place person, which is crazy. And it's I don't know. I think it's entertaining and fun to see where they're able to bring up.
The thing that I thought was funny about it was the fact that you don't get to see Drake play anything. Yeah. Because that was the whole thing where everyone's like, oh, Drake's playing Fortnite. And, I mean, let's. I mean, I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm just saying like you don't get to see it. You don't get to see him play. You don't get to see what he did. You get to see Ninja, who is, as he likes to say, better than you at Fortnite, which he's a ton better than me.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would think that I mean if I had the connections, then I would totally do that and bring in people kind of like what's his name, Conan O'Brien does, where he brings in like I feel like that doing that for like an hour or so with a celebrity would be hilarious. I don't need it edited. Conan O'Brien edits that down where they play a specific thing and then they just bring out like, you know, they edit and just have the funny quips or whatever. I would pay to, or I would not, I don't know, pay, but I would watch the heck out of random celebrities playing video games. I don't care how, like in an online scenario like this with someone who knows what they're doing, I would pay. I don't care what the skill level of the person is, or if they just want to sit there and give commentary. Like Terry Crews is a gamer.
Yeah,
Terry Crews is a gamer.
Crews, highly suggested that you check out Terry Crews on Twitch because he's hilarious.
He's not only is he hilarious, I love that he did it because he was like, it wasn't that he was disinterested in games, but his son was gaming and he's like, whoa, I don't understand where my son's coming from on this, and like I want to do something with him. So he started playing video games with his son, and he probably played video games before that, but that was the big catalyst for him. This play right here, if you're watching that, was insane. He literally built walls in front of someone to make sure that they couldn't shoot him, and then waited for the person to walk out from there, and then he got him. I mean, he's so much better than me at this game.
He's a lot better than either of us.
I like Fortnite, but I mean he's right. When someone is like, I'm the best, like if you watched YouTube back in the day, Athene called himself the best paladin in the world for World of Warcraft, and you were like, oh, this guy's so arrogant, and he had his girlfriend come in and he was just talking about how like it was just, you know, sexualization of her just to do it, and you're like, oh, this guy's so arrogant, and then you'd see him play and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he's actually really good, and he's just milking it, which I thought was really funny. This guy's not milking it; he's just showing. He's like, look, I'm better. So I think it's cool that Drake did that. I don't like Drake. I mean, not that I hate him or anything. I have a little bit more respect for him than Jay-Z, I guess. I don't know. Like,
okay,
I don't get it. I mean, part of it's because I hate when people sample amazing songs and then no one knows what the heck they sampled, so they just get credit for it. So
but back into video games. Sonic Mania Plus is Sonic Mania came out last year, and this is Plus. They're doing a physical release, limited edition, and they're putting classic characters, which nobody was asking for. That wasn't a thing that anybody was requesting, but they're putting like Shadow and Knuckles maybe, but
I'm okay with those. But who the heck is Mighty and Ray? Because they're new playable characters that I feel like I don't know why I would want to play them. Like I've not been told.
Mighty Number 9 and Ray from Mighty Number 9.
Oh, so I care less than I previously
exactly
cared.
You care in a negative capacity.
Yep. Knuckles, that's cool, because Knuckles, I've not been able to play on like a Sonic 1, or just his different abilities I think would be interesting. I mean, he obviously does not play as fast as Sonic or Tails, but I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what Encore mode is, but 4-player competition mode, I hope it means 4-player competition, split screen, timed, because
those
two-player
were fun back when they let us do that on Sonic 2, and I could be about the races. I'm interested in the races.
I could be. As long as I'm paired with other people who are as mediocre as I am with Sonic, because I'm not a speedrunner. I like playing the game, but I don't know. Like Sonic to me, it's a mix of exploration and speed, and hyperbole. So as long as you have those things, I'm okay.
And then the last bit of gaming news that we have for this week is PUBG is launching onto mobile, which we told you last week that Fortnite was moving to mobile. Fortnite has crossplay. As far as I can tell, PUBG is not planning on that, but they do have a limited run right now. It's in the same version. It's in a beta that they're allowing people to play on mobile. So, but again, Fortnite already trumped them and already did it better. And so it's been amazing to me to watch how, and I mean, Fortnite is not even a game that I play. I'm just fascinated by how it's done, and just watching that has been entertaining.
Yeah. I think, to me, I think Fortnite is easier to jump in and just go. PlayerUnknown has a lot more subtleties involved. I think that that's not to say that someone who plays Fortnite is a lesser player or less skilled. There are different skill sets, like you saw the building in Fortnite. You can build stairs and walls, which is really cool, because the idea that they created on it, kind of like Rocket League. The idea behind the rockets in Rocket League was, let's make them propel and go faster. And then someone went, hey, if I do this right, I can fly. Yeah. And then it changed the whole game. So the idea for Fortnite was, let's let you be able to build a structure. And then you could hide yourself. Like, some people will build like I think you saw in there, some people build like 4 walls around them. They'll heal themselves and figure out what they need to do. Yeah. And then they'll go out from there. It's like, okay, that's cool. Some people will build stairways up to a mountain. So instead of having to try to climb up the mountain or like around it, you just go up the stairs. Or in that case, I don't think the developers ever thought someone was going to build multiple walls around another player as a defensive mechanism. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
I love watching the creativity in Fortnite, and that's one of the reasons that I prefer it to PUBG. But for those of you who are interested in PUBG, that's coming to mobile.
I'm curious how it is on mobile, considering when they brought it onto Xbox, it was I mean, you basically couldn't shoot anybody as long as they were like in a car. So if you just got a vehicle and you drove around, you're fine. So I don't know how it's going to be, because the frame rate was horrible on Xbox, including the Xbox One X. So we'll see how it does on a mobile platform. And this proves to me, if you can do that on a mobile platform, there's no reason that PUBG or, in my opinion, Fortnite can't just come to Switch. There's so many games that can come to Switch, that can use the hardware, and would be great on Switch. And I'm glad more are coming there. I just mean, I hate when a developer says, I'm not interested, like, that can't be done. Like, yeah, it can. Yes, it can. Yes, you put Skyrim on that. You put Doom on that. Come on, it's fine. Anyways, that's it for the gaming news this week. Let us know in the comments what you thought about that, and if you like PUBG, or if you like if you like PUBG, or if you like Fortnite better, or if you like H1Z1, which is going free to play. So
and we do have one more thing before we head out. We got a review on Facebook, and we really appreciate the reviews, because that kind of boosts our visibility and lets people know what they're getting into. Sure. So we had this review from Alex Platt. He said, so I'm not a huge gamer, like Spyro is still one of my favorites type, but what I'm loving about listening to these guys is they make video games / media feel accessible. It is clear they both have lives outside of this and still manage to fit these things in, and something that jumped out at me is they usually talk about how much investment a game takes. That is invaluable to me. Otherwise, a great and comprehensive roundup of what's happening in the world by a couple of guys that are down to earth and don't make me feel inferior for not being already in the know. Thank you guys for doing what you do.
Yeah, I really thank you, Alex. We really appreciate that. That's kind of the whole idea behind this, is that anyone can be a gamer. Anyone can play these games. I mean, you have like even the inaccessible games like Dark Souls. Just go and play it, and have fun. Some games I really appreciate that review, because that's what it's what we really sought out to do. We want to, if you're not invested in the culture, if you're not already ingrained in it like we are, where we are on gaming websites all the time looking at news, we don't want you to miss something that you may like. Like you said, Spyro may be your thing, and if a new Spyro thing comes out, we want to be able to tell you guys about that. So thank you for the review. Like that means a lot to us.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.